What up guys, this is Monkey Figure Reviews, and today we are going to unbox the Maximatic Monkey D Luffy 1 figure. And this might be a bit of a surprise to some of you who had watched my big news video back when this figure was first announced, because I did mention that I was not too interested in him, but after seeing some of the videos, some of the photos and recommendations from followers of this channel, I decided to get it because the design is actually pretty cool, and more importantly for me, it is of a big size. I believe the scale is very similar to the Grandista series, but we will have to confirm that later. For now, we will just take a quick look at the box first, and I really like kind of the more creative and more dynamic design for the art behind. Over here, I think obviously we have the figure we are going to get right here, the image of him, and we have the One Piece word printed, and at the back you kind of have like, I'm not sure, like dust or smoke popping out from the back of Luffy, and you have this speed lines, you know, that they usually draw in mangas. So it's really cool. We have the series name here, Maximatic, character name, BANPRESTO logo, Bandai Spirits logo. This is the side view, a close-up of the face. To be honest, I really think that, you know, this capturing of Luffy's likeness is very good. And this is the other side, another angle, and this is the back, another angle of the figure as well. But overall, I think the words and everything, the design is similar to the front. And at the top, we have our blank Toei sticker again. So from what I know is that, because previously I did mention that I think this is a UV Toei sticker, but I think because they just ran out of Toei stickers, I'm not sure how that happened, because this is actually a Japanese version and they decided to just do a white blank sticker instead. And I haven't really peeled the bottom to see how is it like at the bottom, but if you're not too sure about this, something like this does exist. Okay, a white blank Toei sticker does exist. Alright, and you can see my box is brand new and sealed, so we are going to do the unboxing together. Let's go! I have taken out the parts of the figure and we have a total of 4 pieces. Here we have a part of his sash from the waist. Here we have supporting stand, his upper body, and finally his legs. This is how Luffy looks like when put together, and you can see that he stands fine on his own without the supporting stand, but actually he's kind of leaning towards the back due to the weight of the figure, the center of gravity. And I think because this is just PVC material, over time the legs might get more deformed and he will eventually fall over towards the back. So my suggestion is to really just put the supporting stand. So it just slides on to the left ankle of Luffy, and what you really get is definitely a much more stable support for the figure, and it is the best for his long-term health. As usual, let us take a closer look at the figure starting from the head sculpt, and right away I can say that this face is really well done. I think they had done a fantastic job in capturing Luffy's likeness, and this is just basically how Luffy looks like in the manga and the anime. You know, like how he looks like when he's pissed and getting ready to fight. The eyebrows, the eyes, the scar are really well painted on. I think it's the eyes mainly, it really captures Luffy's personality really well. And we can even see some veins popping up on the forehead. The mouth, it's also really good. I feel that sometimes for some figures they added additional details that made it look weird, make the mouth look weird. And sometimes it's too simple, but this is just fine. So this is more of, I would say, a more cartoonish anime-ish style. So if you're looking for, you know, fine detail, some more texturing on the face, on the skin, then you're not gonna get it here. But likeness wise, which to me is very important, this is really good. It is so good. And another thing that I feel sometimes they always mess up with Luffy's face it is the facial proportion. Maybe not just him, but for also other characters. You know, like the way the eyes, the mouth are positioned. This is perfect for me. So just for a quick example, let's say the SMSP BWFC Luffy Wano figure. I think that even though his facial expression is done right, the proportion of the head, of like the shape of the head, is kind of off. So that really turned me off from getting the figure. And I think this, even though this is like a cheaper price figure, I think this is much better than that SMSP BWFC Luffy. Alright, other than that, if you look at the hair, like the individual clumps of strands of hair, those are really well done too. The positioning of it is done great. Sometimes it can be weird, especially with the straw hat on, but this is great. It is fantastic. Let me just try to show you guys more angles of it. Finishing is well done too. So I'm really impressed so far. This is the other side. You can see some details on the ear as well. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the face. So we're gonna show you the straw hats now. The straw hats at the top. And I think this is definitely not one of the more detailed straw hats we have seen. So it's rather simple, but they actually added shading. I think you can tell over here it's darker in certain parts too, and of course the details with the damage done to the straw hat by Buggy, as well as the, what do you call this, like the mending done by Nami. Shading here too, and overall it's pretty simple. It looks similar to the Grandista Nero, but we will have to see again later. Okay, that's pretty much all we are going to get. I think for the bottom it's also pretty similar. And now let's continue with his body. So we will start with the neck first, I guess. You can see he's kind of, you know, really kind of forcing it out a bit because he's building momentum with his punch. And here you can see the neck muscles that's sculpted onto the figure. Pretty decent. Some shading over there as well in the darker parts, in the crevices of the muscles. And right over here, his body, of course. Muscles are also very impressive. The chest muscles, the abs, the core, and you have the scar as well, with all those lines added onto it to make it more realistic, all the striations. And yeah, I think the muscle sculpt on the body is really fantastic. On the sides as well, there's nipples if you're interested in that. I think this part is hidden, but you can see here. Okay, and the twist of the body is just right. It's not too crazy. This is fine, but actually Luffy he's a rubber man, so he has more freedom in doing that. Okay, let me just try to see if I can show you the back muscles a little bit over here. You can see it's sculpted too, and some parts it's actually shading that is added onto the muscles, like here. Alright, this is painted on. Okay, also some lines there to, I guess, show more texture on his body, his skin. And let's look at his shirt. You can see the creases for yourself. There's also shading in certain places. It's darker like here and here. Also on the inside. Creases are very natural, really well done. And the whole shirt is of course done in a way that it has a flow. It has a motion to give life to this figure. And I think the way they've done it is fantastic. So over here you can see the creases, the shading here is darker, and all these lines. Here is fantastic too. Look at it. So the whole flow is just kind of flowing to his right. This part too, there's darker red shading. This is how the shirt kind of flows up. There you go, darker shading here too, here and here. These are the buttons. Buttons are more ordinary and more inconsistent, I guess, because this is very, very small compared to buttons here and here. And this is the hand, the arm of Luffy, the right arm. So this is the wrist, the details, the nails that's added. I think it's honestly fantastic. I'm quite impressed by it. Same for the other hand too. Over here, all these things you can probably just see for yourself. Some muscles here and here, the bones and the vessels. Fantastic. The coloring and shading on the pants is absolutely fantastic. It is such a job well done. And you know what I mean by that is that they already added the creases on the sculpt, on the molding itself. You can see them here. But to emphasize them, they really included the shading, which is the alternating layers of lighter blue and darker blue, to really show the layers of the creases and of course the resulting shadows from them. And it just makes it so much more fantastic, more realistic of course. And you know, it's just I really love it, man. Like, this is such a great job. And of course the details, like the zipper here. Mine has a brown spot here, which is unfortunate, but I guess sometimes it can't be avoided. And even the pockets, the details are here. The pants seam lines. And the back, we can see the back pockets. Okay, as well as the thread lines too. And over here, like, this is just so well done, man. And this is not natural lighting, so let's say like if I cover the lights, you can still see it. This is the paint's job. And I would imagine it's much more work for them, but they decided to do it, and I really appreciate it because it looks fantastic, it looks great. A lot of depth to the figure, other than just, you know, looking plain and boring like most of the figures nowadays. Yeah, and I'm really happy to see this. Oh yeah, and I forgot about the waist sash. So this part, there's also shading. You can see definitely some parts are darker yellow, some parts are lighter. Fantastic all-round work. And let me just show you guys this part, which is kind of flying out. They really put a lot of effort into this one, I can tell. And I have to praise them because, you know, when they have done a good figure, we should praise them. This is really good. And of course, if it's not good, we also call them out as well. Alright, and another part that I like about the shorts, the pants, is that, you know, this fur cloth part, it is so randomized. I like it. It's totally random. It's much more realistic this way. And you can really just tell by looking at it all around. Because sometimes what they do is that they just make it sort of the same, and like the fur is just kind of standardized across. But this is much more random, and probably how this will be in real life if we have a pants or a shorts that's kind of like this. Same for this part too. Like, even like all this like mini clusters of cloth, they are so random, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Can't really see much into the hole here, but for the legs you can definitely see the muscles. Okay, the calf muscles at the very least. And the toes, the sandals, well done as well with the details. Same for the other leg. A lot of muscles around the knee, the kneecap, the calf. And yeah, I think, man, that's all we have to talk about. Very impressive thus far. The height of this figure from the bottom to the top of his head, I would say that is about 18.5 cm, so around 7.25 inches. If you say to the top of his right fist, that is 19.5 cm and around 7.75 inches. Here, I have taken out my other Luffy figures that are similar in terms of scale and size to this Maximatic Luffy. This is King of Artists Luffy, the first one, and this is Grandista Nero Luffy. So when I look across the three of them right now, it's kind of hard to tell if there are any differences because really they are very similar to each other in terms of size. So the only thing that I can see that is different, okay, let's put it this way. Okay, the first thing we usually look at is sort of like the body proportions, the body size, and I would say across the three of them, they are very close, very similar. If you want to put it in a different way, essentially the same. And the next thing we talk about is the height, sort of like the height elevation of the character. And the only one that stands out to me is this Luffy, because his legs are just a little bit longer, like just a little tiny bit longer, and that kind of makes him look taller. So if he's shorter a bit, then I think in terms of scale, they are essentially the same. But I think if you are going to, you know, put him maybe next to Grandista, Zoro, or Sanji, or whoever, I wouldn't think it will make a difference. It would be, you know, too little or too insignificant of a difference to really affect your skill display. That's my take on it. That's my opinion. Maybe if I have time, I will do a do-they fit, and maybe we can have a better, more sort of a focused comparison. Here I have taken out Masterlise Best Edition Luffy and Zoro for size comparison as well. I took out Zoro because one of you asked me to do it, so I hope you can have a better picture now. And you can tell that Maximatic Luffy is definitely bigger in terms of scale compared to the Masterlise series, which is the same as your King of Artists, Master Stars Piece, Flag Diamond Ship, Glitter and Glamours, Glitter and Brave. Alright, so if you have any other of those figures and you want to compare, just take reference with these two figures. Lastly, here I have POP Sealing Again version 2 Luffy, and over here we have Masterlise Extra Sabo. So POP is just, you know, for you guys to have a reference, have a look. And Masterlise Extra Sabo, which is similar to the big size Zoro that I have too, but it's a bit difficult for me to take him out now. So you guys would take reference from him. And from what I see, Sabo and this Maximatic doesn't really match well because the Masterlise Extra and the big size series, they're just really huge and really big size. Maybe they match well with the Nero because of the little bit of extra height, but I think with this Maximatic they will look rather off. Alright guys, that's pretty much all I have to say for this Luffy figure. In conclusion, he is absolutely fantastic, a great piece of figure, and I would recommend this to everyone out there if you have not purchased him. The key points that stood out to me were, number one, the character likeness, the facial likeness. I think this is 10/10. The more I look at it, the more I like it. It is really good. And of course, the shading, the comprehensive shading, and also the creases, the folds, the flow of the outfit to give life to the figure, those are fantastic. The pose of him as well, this is much more dynamic than the usual static Luffy figures we get. And yeah, and lastly, the size. Like, this is actually a good size figure. It's quite huge, and I think it's really worth your money for a price figure. Alright, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below as usual. I know it's end of the year, it's Christmas, but I have been so busy. I have actually quite a number of videos I want to film and I want to publish before the end of the year. Hopefully I can do it. I hope you guys are doing well. And of course, if you like my videos and you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you do not want to miss out on new videos like this. I'll see you guys very soon. Once again, thank you all for spending your time with me. Hope you're enjoying your I guess end of the year time, festive time. I'll see you very soon, maybe tomorrow. Bye bye.